And we are live. What's good, everyone? AB Media 83 here. And today we're talking politics, geopolitics, and much more. Hope everybody's doing all right tonight. Uh, I got plenty to cover today. Apparently, the Republicans have found who they want to be their new speaker, and that is a fellow by the name of Steve Scalise. Now, unfortunately for Steve Scalise, it's still an uphill battle, and there's still a tug of war between him and Jim Jordan. But we'll see what happens. Another thing, but hope everybody's doing all right. Wait for a couple people to come in. Hope everybody's doing all right this Thursday evening, and I hope to have a fun show for today. Unfortunately, I'm still on my phone, so want a more full presentation, hit the Cash App support the show so I can get a new laptop to do so. But anyway, in other news, Joe Biden, of all people, spread some misinformation. He talked about, and this kind of gets into geopolitics a little bit. He talked about how there are pictures, there information about how Hamas are beheading infants and beheading children. Now that's horrific and detestable, but there's just one problem. The IDF has not confirmed these claims yet. Now you might be asking, who's the IDF? Um, the Israel Defense Force has not confirmed those claims. Oh, and by the way, the Israel Defense Force has not confirmed the claims that Iran helped Hamas pull off this little stunt that they pulled off last week. So for all y'all going around claiming we should go to war with Iran, you look stupid because even the Israel Defense Force said Iran had nothing to do with it. Iran has come out and said they had nothing to do with it. And also, Hamas has come out and disclaimed that they decapitated children and infants. Now, if anybody was going to spread the claim that Hamas was doing that to infants and children, it would be the IDF. It would be the Israel Defense Force. But even they're not coming out and claiming that. So, to make a long story short, Joe Biden lied to American people. Well, what else is new? They lie to us all the time. We just pretend it don't happen. But yeah, this situation in Israel is a hot mess, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. More information needs to come out. One thing I will say about the Israelis in Israel are not happy with Benjamin Netanyahu. That is just a fact. Multiple papers have come out blaming Benjamin Netanyahu for this terrorist attack by Hamas. And so anybody claim that I'm being anti-Semitic, Israel's own papers came out with this. So I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear that crap at all. But yeah, this situation in Israel, ironically, He got President Zelensky, Vladimir Zelensky, appearing in the bunch because it may look like he's not going to get too much more funding, especially since he's losing the war. You know that little war that they call Ukraine. Well, war ain't going so well for Zelensky, and he decided to take a trip to Israel to beg for more money. But what else is new? He's always begging for money, but that's neither here or there. He's always begging for money. But yeah, that's something that's some of your geopolitical news for today. There's a lot going on. Sorry for the background if you can hear that. Somebody's running around with their motorcycle outside. Hope y'all can't hear that. But be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the Cash App and support the show. It's pinned to the top. That yeah, that's some of the new. That's some of the big news that's going around today. But I've been working on my shorts. One of the shorts I put out. I remind people what Joe Biden said back in 2022. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. Okay. Well, I guess I'm not. I guess I won't be black in 2024 either. I wasn't black in 2020. I won't be black in 2024. Oh well. Find something else to vote for. Find somebody else to vote for you. But going back to politics here, RFK and Dr. Cornel West have gone independent. In other words, they're running by themselves, no party support whatsoever. They're running as non-affiliate. They're both running as non-affiliated independents. Now, there are some on the right that feel that RFK going independent is going to take votes away from Donald Trump. Salute Detroit 313. Now, in my personal opinion, I think RFK actually hurts Biden more, considering he was running as a Democrat in the first place. I actually think he takes more Biden votes, but I could be wrong about that. Uh, this knucklehead on Fox News, Jesse Waters, thinks RFK will take some of the black vote. I don't necessarily agree with that. That may be true for older black folk that are more familiar with the Kennedy name. That might actually be true, but that may be partially true for older black folk who are more familiar with the Kennedy name. But I don't see younger black folk doing that. But that's just my personal opinion. And Dr. Cornel West is running as a non-affiliate independent too. Apparently, from what's being reported, he didn't like the bureaucracy of the Green Party. So go figure. I have no problem whatsoever with either of these two gentlemen running as independents. The more options I got in 2024, the merrier. I think it's a good thing, and we'll see what happens. But as I stated before, this report has come out of Israel that babies were being babies were being uh, what's the word I'm looking for, beheaded. Uh, that has not been confirmed, and I'm not going to go around saying that true, especially if the IDF has not confirmed it. The IDF has not confirmed that, so we truly don't know if it's true. Now, CNN with there's a reason Trump called it fake news. CNN claimed that they confirmed it, but yet the IDF, the Israel Defense Fund, has not confirmed this. If anybody was going to if anybody was going to put that claim out, it would have been the IDF. And if they're not confirming that, that's an automatic red flag. That should be a red flag for everybody. But some more political news. This is not. I'm not going to any kind of order. Some more local news. There's a knucklehead that I vote blue no matter who knucklehead that claimed that I was somehow misinforming people by talking about the immigrant problem in Chicago. Yeah, like there's no immigrant problem in Chicago. Now, to that knucklehead, if he's listening, as I've said before, if you think that's true, you go down to Chicago. I don't know if y'all been looking at the videos recently about all the town hall meetings and stuff that's been going on around immigrants in Chicago. Okay, okay, Negro, you go down there and tell those black folks that they're misinformed and they're spreading misinformation about immigrants in Chicago. Good luck to you. Good luck with that, brother. I'm just saying. But yeah, there's an immigrant problem in Chicago. There's an immigrant problem in New York. The New York mayor said they're getting so many immigrants that it's going to bankrupt New York City, of all places. Wall Street. But it's misinformation to say that United States has an immigrant problem. Of course, as BGS has pointed out on multiple occasions, shout out to BGS. The reason why they're bringing in all these immigrants is because, well, how can I say this? Ain't enough white folk to go around. Translation: they don't have enough white workers. So they're importing, and since Europe is depleted of white people, and they're importing people as well, they're importing people. So yeah, they're importing more Latinos because they're the closest thing to white. And I was teasing BJS the other day. I was like, well, wait, if it's a population problem, why don't they bring in more Africans? Oh wait, that's right. They need us to be the designated garbage class. I don't even know if we call us underclass anymore. We're like the disposable garbage class, and it is what it is. And also, in my opinion, Democrats are letting a lot of Latinos in so they can somehow replace black folk over time. Yeah, good luck with that when most of them are Catholic and don't believe in the rainbow crap. Yeah, good luck with that, Democrats. But the Democrat Party usually bends over for the Republican Party anyway. And just to kind of mix politics and geopolitics, we got Republicans like Lindsey Graham saying stupid shit like we should, start a holy war with Iran. Now, let me remind you of something. We saw the clusterfuck that was Iraq. Iran is actually a bigger country. We spent trillions of dollars, wasted trillions of dollars in Iraq. Iran is actually a bigger country. On top of the fact, they are backed by not one nuclear power, a couple of nuclear powers, China and Russia. So, and keep in mind, we're already stretched thin with this Ukraine bullshit and shit they try to do in Taiwan. But you want to start a war with Iran. Oh, good luck with that. We got other Republican representatives. Yes, that's right. That's right. I don't just pick on Democrats here. I pick on Republicans too. Republicans get this smoke too. We got Republicans want to commit a genocide on the people in the Gaza Strip, the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Now, let me be perfectly clear. I do not support Hamas whatsoever, but not everybody in the Palestinian strip supports Hamas. The majority do in the strip support Hamas only because the Israeli government, excuse me, let me get my thoughts out. The Israeli government supports Hamas. Yeah, I said it. Everybody knows that. Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud government backs gives money to Hamas to support Hamas to keep the Palestinian people divided. They think we're not supposed to know that crap, but it happens. Now, there's plenty of reporting on this. You can plan on misinforming people if you want to, but this is how geopolitics work, folks. Especially for the West. They fund the terrorists. They don't want you to know that, but they do fund the terrorists. You don't believe everything you can't believe everything you hear on cable news nowadays. There's a reason Trump called it fake news. He was not he was not wrong about that. He was not wrong about that at all. But you don't have to believe me. Just keep living. Keep living, folks. There is a lot, but there's a lot of crap going around, and we just have to see what happens. Y'all hit the Cash App to support the show. But as I stated before, the Israel situation is not good. There's war in the Middle East, and it's not pretty. Y'all hit the Cash App to support the show. It's pinned at the top. And so, give me 1 second. Getting my invite together. Copy. And here we go. If anybody wants to come up, there's the link and talk about these topics. There's the link. Oh, and other news, Jada Pinkett's crazy ass came out and said that her and Will Smith have been divorced for about 7 years. Not really surprised there. Zionist state. Let me read that. Uh, Zionist stooge Steve Scalise has dropped out of the speak. Oh, interesting. Eh. Oh, so yeah, okay. So we got a clusterfuck in Congress. Oh well, it is what it is. The far right Republicans are crazy as hell. There's no doubt about that. I actually criticize them for some of the stupid shit they put in bills. If you've been paying attention, they've been putting stuff like they're gonna cut better veteran benefits and shit. My response to that is simple. Okay, let them run on that shit. Let them put that shit in the bill. Let them put that shit in the bill. See how far they get. State the name. State who back. State whoever backs it. Back your. Put your money where your mouth is. You back cutting veteran benefits just to call yourself cutting spending. Go and do it. See what happens to you. You want to cut food stamps for and let me remind you of something. Black folk are not the majority on food stamps. Not by a long shot. The majority of people on food stamp are white folk. So if you want to cut food stamps, see how far that gets you, Cupcake. See how far that gets you. But that's interesting. Steve Scalise is has dropped out of the running. Okay. Oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, but now they can't pass nothing until they get another speaker. What was the other cat's name? Jim Jordan. I guess Jim Jordan's up now, so we'll see what happens. I don't know if Kevin McCarthy's going to make another run for it or not, but we have to see what happens in the House. Looks like a clusterfuck to me. If you ask me, it looks like a clusterfuck. But the news has been crazy. Am I surprised Joe Biden lied to everybody? No, not really. That's why I laugh at people like Trump's a crook. I'm like, yeah, no shit. We knew that before 2016. What else is new? He's a tax cheat too. What else is new? What's the difference between me? My question is, what's the difference between him and your current set of politicians? You think Nancy Pelosi and them ain't cheating? Don't use them tax loopholes. Stop lying to yourself. You think that they get like a 100 $200,000 salary, but most of them are millionaires? You think that's by accident? You think they're not getting bribes? And from what I've heard, Trump is actually gotten poor since he's been president. Hasn't gotten richer since been president. He's gotten poorer since he's been president because he doesn't play ball with the establishment the way they want him to. But y'all acting like but you listen to these people, they acting like Trump's the worst thing that ever happened. Trump's a racist. And okay, so what's the difference between him and the other 45 presidents we've had? Crickets, crickets, crickets. What's the difference? What's the difference? If you ask me, there is no difference between Trump and the other 45 racists we've had. And I tell people this all the time. I can't even put Trump in the top 10 most racist presidents if I wanted to. Why? You have to understand something. It's impossible to put him in the top 10 most racist presidents. 12 of your first 18 presidents were slave owners. Translation: 12 of your first 18 presidents owned your ass. They thought you were property, including your women. And I'll make this joke. Who was the first president to have black children? Officially, they claim it was Thomas Jefferson. But if you read some more into George Washington's history, it was probably George Washington. And there are a lot of black folk with Washington's last name running around. Something to think about. Oh, interesting thing about Washington is the majority of them weren't even his slaves; they were his wives' slaves. See, Jordan. A lot of people are getting on Travis Kelsey for messing with Taylor Swift, and even though Taylor Swift is a billionaire, but white boys marrying up is not new. Read your history, folks. White folks marry. You have to understand, marriage is a business. That is very true. Marriage is a business, folks. Understand that. see after. Oh, I didn't know that. Lee Camp has. Okay, I didn't know that. Oh yes, if I'm not mistaken, I gotta read my history. I gotta go back and look. But if I'm not mistaken, Andrew Jackson. I'm glad you mentioned Andrew Jackson. If I'm not mistaken, Andrew Jackson started what we call the Democrat Party. Yes, that's right, Democrats. All you black vote blue, no matter who. Your party was started by a slave owner. Oh, but we need to worry about the Republicans. Now, to be fair, the Republicans were started by Abraham Lincoln, who didn't like black folk either. To be fair, and if Lincoln had said himself, if he could keep the Union and keep slavery, he would have done it. That's just the history. That's the history of this country. If Lincoln himself said if he could have kept slavery, he would have done it. But he couldn't keep because a combination of the slavery revolts on top of the fact Europe was moving away from slavery. He couldn't keep slavery, so he abolished it. And of course, we know the history that the folks from Texas didn't hear about the abolishment till until June 19th of 1865. But y'all hit the Cash App and support the show. The Cash App is pinned to the top. Hit the Cash App, support the show. The link is in the chat. So if you want to come up and talk to me about this, we can do that. But like I said, the politics of the day is Joe Biden spread a lie that babies and children were getting decapitated, and the IDF has yet to confirm that. And once again, for those of people who have been living on the rock, the IDF is the Israel Defense Force. If anybody's going to spread, if anybody would confirm that, it would have been the Israel Defense Force. And Israel's military is no joke. We should know because America's paying for it. If I'm not mistaken, we give them about $3 billion per year, and we prop up their military since 1948. Oh yeah, this is not the is. Yeah, let me clarify something. Let me clarify something. This is not the. These are not the Israelites from the Bible. These are Ashkenazi Jews. I think they originate somewhere in Russia, but during the while Germany was during Germany's extermination of Jewish people as well various other people, they moved to Palestine and claimed that land to be Israel during the 1940s. I don't make this stuff up. I'm not trying to misinform anybody. This is your world history. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. But what do I know? I'm just a programmer and a guy who like reading history, right? Who like used to read history for fun. What do I know? But it's going to be an interesting election cycle next year. That's for damn sure. For all you knuckleheads who are pretending that Trump has no shot of getting elected, let me remind you of something. I said this before. I won't keep saying it. If you think Donald Trump cannot get elected again, I have two words for you: Grover Cleveland. For those of you who do not know, Grover Cleveland was your 22nd president and your 24th president. What a translation. He won his first election as 22nd president. He then lost to Benjamin Harrison, who is from my state, Indiana. Then he beat Benjamin Harris again to become the 24th president. Oh, by the way, what party was Grover Cleveland in? Hmm. I bet he was a Republican, right? Grover Cleveland was a Republican, right? Nope, Democrat. So there's precedence for this. The Democrats know this, and I believe that's the reason why they're going after Trump so hard. That's the reason. That's the main reason why they're putting all these charges on Trump. Because let's face it, they know they can't beat Joe Biden in 2024. They know Joe Biden can't beat Trump in 2024. Now, I've already stated for the record. Yeah, I think Trump's a criminal. So what? Most of them, about just if y'all been living under a rock somewhere, you don't think Biden's a criminal. Just look at it. Look at his loser son, Hunter Biden. Y'all really think Biden's not a criminal? Really? He just goes about it a different way. They're all criminals. But hey, this is the look. This is the country we live in, and like it or not, we have to play the game. It's the country you live in, and we have to play the game. So once again, if anybody wants to join the panel and talk about these topics, there's the link. You can come up and talk to me about this and talk about what's going on in the country and the world. And going back to geopolitics for a minute. Zelensky's now is going everywhere. Is still begging people for money. You know, to help his pointless is losing war to the Russians, and there are now talks that it's getting real. It's getting close to the end. He's going to have to make a decision. You know, he can keep fighting a losing battle. From what I've heard, they've lost 900,000 Ukrainians have been killed in this war, and they pretty much have to kidnap people off the street in order to continue this war. On top of the fact the U.S. is running out of ammunition to give them in this proxy war. Yes, this is a proxy war. This is Joe Biden doing this Ukraine war is pretty much Joe Biden doing a proxy war with Russia and China, trying to slow down what we now know as the BRICS. For those you don't know who the BRICS is, that is China, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa. And if I'm not mistaken, some other countries have joined on since then, which makes the BRICS even more powerful. So America is not the only, the West is not the only superpower right now. The BRICS are gaining steam, and West is pretty much shitting their pants. They don't know what to do. And as BGS said, this is the end game. Hopefully, they can come out to a peaceful solution and not have us in a forever war. I hope, you know, I pray. For those you don't know, I'm a Christian. I pray that we can come to a peaceful solution and not be stuck in a forever war like we were for the last 20 years. But I don't know with this current administration. I don't know. There's a lot of war hawks in this current administration, and they have Biden's ear, whether I like it or not. But yeah, Zelensky is going around still begging people for money. From what I've heard, in the Israelis are not happy with Benjamin Netanyahu because see, for those you don't know, Israel was supposed to be protected by what they call Iron Dome, which prevents them from the kind of attacks that they suffered by Hamas. Oh, it looks like we have a contender. Let's see, who is this? Oh, the Equalizer. Hey, what's going on, Salchi?
Yo, good evening, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just cover some geo and local politics.
Well, yeah, seems like something new every month, huh?
Yep, and it's getting interesting in Israel.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, being an '80s baby, it kind of feels like the '80s and the early '90s, and it's like uh, just in terms of I guess with what's going on with the wars, it kind of has that feeling. It's not obviously it's not the same, but I mean it's reminiscent of that. Economically, we're talking, like 1949. Obviously, none of us was alive, not even BGS, and
Yeah,
pretty much the '70s.
yeah. My
So I
mother was
mean,
a baby, but still.
oh, so she doesn't even know. Well, I mean, at least for the '49 part. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's just where we're at, man. I mean, here domestically, I mean, whatever guys are doing, man, they just got to keep their hand on the pulse and their finger on the pulse of the economy and just adapt and adjust and depending on how ambitious they are, whatever their strengths are, man, they just gotta double down on that, man, and just gotta increase their income, man. Like it just needs to be done because like one shit's not going back like it's just not going back because stuff was just super artificial anyway, artificial
yeah,
low interest rates. So that's gone. So I mean, anybody with a pulse can make money during that time. That's why everybody thought that. I can't say everybody. That's why most people thought they were a genius in the stock market. Now people are finding out they're not who they thought they were.
no, dude.
so I mean, that's just what it is, man. Just things are just changing really, really fast. When will things normalize? I don't know. Obviously, no one knows the exact time, but I mean, it's just this is a lot going on, man. Next year we got a lot of the commercial real estate, those who were on variable rates, that shit is going to start 2024, 2025. Could be the two main years where those loans are maturing. And then even next year, corporate bonds are going to, a lot of them are going to be maturing too. So if people
Oh
thinking
boy.
that, these, well, at least the Fortune 500s, if they're thinking that, like the shit's just going to like be great, like it's just not.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
had to,
it's not doom and gloom. It's just it's just reality. It's a cycle, and then remember, we pumped a lot of money in the system, and
mm-hmm.
then we never recovered from 2008. So I mean, like it's just it is what it is, and then who knows what else poor decisions that may
Yeah,
be made either by the feds or the government. So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like you got to just keep your head on the swivel. Like that's
yeah. If you go
really
to
all you
look
can
at
do.
one of my shorts, you heard this guy called Harry. He's a little Democrat shill. He's supposed to be a Gen Z. He made a little he made a TikTok talking about the economy is great. The start listing number. I was like, oh, okay, so, this is one time I pulled rank. I pulled rank. I'm like, son. I'm like, okay, son. Have you gone to the grocery store recently? Are you looking at your gas prices, son? You gonna go to people struggling and tell them the economy is doing great? Get a life, son.
Well, a lot of people are saying that, and obviously people are one trying to sell hope, and because when you tell the truth, especially in these times,
Yeah.
apparently you're supposedly negative, and it's like as if there's no hope. And I'm like, no, I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm positive about myself
Yeah.
because I understand what's going on and I
Gotta be.
understand my abilities, but I'm not gonna sit here and be delusional about the reality and making the best decisions for myself and
Right.
also sharing information. And then I mean that's the best you can do because if they don't want to hear it or if they don't understand and don't want to do the work, it's like, well, you
Mhm.
did your part. But, you know, economically, like, these companies, again, people don't, I say all the time, people don't understand finances, they don't understand taxes, and they sure as hell don't understand business. So the business cycle right now is, these businesses for the most part, there's multiple things. What employees forget is you only contribute half of the income taxes. That's it,
Yeah.
half. And even though you're paying whatever you pay for, health insurance, remember the company's paying too. The company's paying portion of health insurance, and the company's paying the other half of your FICA, state and federal taxes. So people seem to forget that. So they're listening to these politicians, thinking that these politicians are saying, "Oh no, it's the greedy, it's your greedy landlord, it's the greedy business owners." And it's like,
It's much more
well,
complicated than that.
yeah, you guys are the ones who set. You guys are the ones who write the laws, the policies, and the tax code. What are you talking about? You guys set the standard. Then they follow because obviously they want to, they want to be profitable and they don't want to, go to jail or what have you, get fined or other stuff. So it's you first.
What's going on, Anthony?
Hey AB, hey Dark Knight, how are you guys today?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Uh, AB, thank you for bringing this up. What makes me mad is like the I'm a younger generation. I just recently started voting since I got out of high school and stuff like
How old
since
are
my
you?
senior year of high school. And what makes me mad is both parties push stuff, and the trickle down economics theory doesn't work. I don't know why the
Yeah.
Republican Party
Actually,
continue.
I don't call it trickle down. I call it piss on you economic because that's what it actually is. They're pissing on you.
No, that's what I don't get. Why does that? Why do? Why is it that the Republican Party continues pushing it when it doesn't actually work? Like,
Well, again, people, the common person, they don't understand. They don't understand. I mean, I'm just talking basics. People don't understand the basics of finance. They don't understand the basics of taxation. And they don't understand. They definitely don't understand business. So you can say those things. I mean, it works, but it works for whom?
Yeah.
That's really the question. And the other thing is, again, telling the truth isn't popular, and to be is sadly, especially when you're talking to the masses, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work as well. And believe it or
Unfortunately, it
not,
doesn't.
most people are dumber than you think. Like, I mean, it might sound elitist, but like, it's really true. Like, it took me I'm 40 now. It took me forever to finally accept vast majority of people aren't as smart as you think they are. Okay, so they can continue to sell that because it gives, again, it's selling hope. The fact of the matter is, there's only so much space up at the top, and everything's layered. There's hierarchies naturally and artificially. That's reality.
eh,
We are not created as equals. Like, you guys are naturally better at me than multiple things.
yeah,
Naturally.
yeah, and another thing that actually it's starting. What I noticed too is depending on what state you're in, it seems like I'm in a Republican state. They're starting to like eliminate civics, and that's what teaches you economics. Like they don't want they're trying to dumb our
What
population down even more to the
What state you
civics,
live in?
huh?
What state do you live in?
Florida, Florida.
Oh, oh,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Well, yeah,
I'm a
your school.
Democrat. I'm a Democrat,
Well,
and I live in Florida.
well,
My condolences.
your schools, your school system, the school system in Florida is not that great. With the exception of private and some other
Yeah,
magnet schools, generally speaking. But I tell people, ever since, and I'm being very liberal with this. since 2000 and really before that, we've had access to the internet, so we have access, right, to
Right.
information. So now in reality, it's like you don't have an excuse. You know what I mean? Like, because you have access. Aside from the fact that we had
We have
libraries.
cell phones.
Yeah, exactly. We literally have more access to information than Bill Clinton had when he was president in our hands
Yeah.
as regular people. So when you
Nowhere look.
look at it that way,
Mm.
they're like, well, you're an adult. Uh, your family or whomever
You're affecting the
caretakers.
next generation, is what I'm saying. The
Oh
kids,
yeah,
young.
but again, it's look at it from their point of view, and I'm not on their side. I'm just saying they were young, they waited, they busted their ass, they waited. Now it's their time. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they see it, and it stops right there. I put in my time, I put in my work, I kissed ass, blah 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 blah. Now I'm older, or I'm old now, and this is my time. That's it.
No, and this is what I think needs to happen. Like I hope this doesn't sound ageist or anything. I think that line of thinking is from older generations and stuff like that. These older politicians that are in their 80s and 70s need to start dying out, or need to get out of politics altogether and let new my anybody below 40 start taking over the government and stuff like that.
But
40 and like
but but
anybody 50 and below
but
to take
Good luck
charge
with
of the
that.
government.
do you understand how power works? Power works. This is how power works. Only power is only superseded by equal or greater power. Period. You see it in basic nature. You see it amongst humans.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why. I mean, again, I'm just looking at it like
Yeah.
pragmatically.
Yeah,
That's why.
How old are you, if
and
you don't mind me asking? How old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay.
Yeah, I started vote. I vote. Start my voting year was the the first year of Obama's the first Obama, what is it called, Obama election.
2008.
Yeah, 2008.
Okay.
That's why my line. That's where my line of thinking is coming from. You need to start letting young people 60, like below 60s, take over this government, because the anybody above 60 has that older line of thinking, like that, how the
Yeah. Well, they didn't train nobody, and but that's who we stuck with right now. It's
Yeah, by
what
design.
we
Yeah.
got.
Yep.
yeah, yeah. And this is another thing that people need to realize too, is when it comes to this, the power sharing dynamics doesn't really work. Like, that's why my generation is trying to push towards a socialist government, because this this
Agreed.
lobbyist government doesn't work for everybody.
But that's normal. Believe
Yeah.
it or not, that's normal when people are younger. I mean, I forget I'm paraphrasing the saying. Before you're pretty much a Democrat or a liberal all the way
Mm.
through, all from a childhood all the way to college until you start working.
Yeah.
Until you stop paying bills and paying taxes, and then it starts to chip away at you, because it's like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm paraphrasing. I forget how the saying exactly goes, but
Yeah.
that's
Only
actually,
thing
believe it or not, that's
the more
normal. What you're
conservative
saying is
get.
normal. Yeah, yeah,
And,
that's
and
normal.
George Carlin said,
And that's
I'm a big
and
fan
that's
of George
still
Carlin. He said it best. AB, the
yeah.
uh he said, this government is rich white men,
Which old white men?
rich
Rich
old
old
white
white
men
men.
Yeah,
sending poor white people and black and Latino people to fight their own wars. They don't want to fight their wars. Like, they're sending poor poor people to fight their wars because they don't have the balls to fight it themselves and stuff like that. That's what George Carlin said. Do you agree with
No.
that?
Yeah. Don't talk about Abraham Lincoln and I forget what was the Jefferson Davis like that.
What?
Okay, let me translate that for you. Abraham Lincoln was the president during the Civil War. Jefferson Davis was the president of the so-called Confederacy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
This has been what I'm trying to tell you is this is not that's nothing new.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, but it seems like in general, like it seems like George Carlin himself is what would we would call a true liberal, not like the or a true progressive, not this like not the warped, not the extremist progressives that we're seeing now. Like, would you agree George Carlin would be what we would consider a true liberal or a true conservative person when it comes to
Mm,
not getting involved in wars and stuff like that? AB, like,
yeah, I didn't really follow George Carlin that much, but
but you know who you know who I'm
yeah, I
talking
know who you're
about though.
talking about. I know
Yeah,
who you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
no,
probably more of a liberal, but
no,
he's
but
probably
in the concern, and he's what people would consider a true liberal, not what we see today and stuff like that.
okay.
Like, not the warped version of conservative, uh, conservative and liberal. Te- like,
Neoliberal,
huh?
neoliberal.
Yeah, neoliberal. And let's be honest, this is a question. What would a guy like Teddy Roosevelt see uh think of when he sees the like guys like Abraham Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt think when they see the Republican Party now, how it turned into this nutso type of Republican Party, and uh and a guy like the Kennedys, John Kennedy. What would you think if he sees how the how the Democratic Party has pushed so far to the left, and these the Republican Party has pushed so far to the right to where it's so extreme. Like, how if they were alive today, what do you think they would think about how these parties have gone so extreme to either side and stuff like that?
Good question. I'm not in these former presidents' heads, but I can't tell you. It depends.
A guy like a guy like Teddy Roosevelt, who he advocated to spread the wealth through, like he was a Republican, but he advocated to spread the wealth down to not this trickle down economics crap that you see these Republicans pushing now, but he actually believed spreading the
Yeah,
wealth throughout.
But
I forget the name of the guy that came out with neoliberalism wasn't necessarily a thing when Teddy Roosevelt was
in office.
it was office. It was laissez faire, but it was called something.
Exactly.
I can't remember. I can't remember where's BGS when you need him. I can't remember what it was called back then, but it was another version of it back then. But
Yeah,
Well,
no, but you understand what I'm saying. It seems like
well, well, the
yeah,
wealth, well, the wealth technically was spread out because our everyday living has actually gone up, but
mhm.
it's already actually hit the limit now because it's hit the limit, and people do not understand how finance, taxes, and business really
Just a
works.
minute, Fauci.
Yeah.
Fauci, y'all hit the cash app to support the show. He's giving you some behind the wall stuff. Go ahead.
And so because they don't understand how those things work, and so few do, those who do, and that information also gets passed down, yes, that the wealth is going to become more centralized. And that's what's been occurring, not only here in America, worldwide. So
Hmm.
it's so imagine we actually have a mixed economy, but
Mhm.
this is
Yes.
also in China, this is also in India, and even in the last few years or decades, believe it or not, even though the people talk about the BRICS, well over, I mean, what I think like some 1,500 like wealthy multimillionaires and billionaires, they have transferred a lot of their wealth over to America. Okay, there's a reason they send their kids to school in America for a
Hmm.
reason. So
educational system down here is coming to shit, though. So
Well, I
I don't
mean,
know why they're
yes. Well,
sending it.
it's technically it's been well. Remember, they're not sending them to regular schools. These
Yes,
people who have money,
private schools. Yeah,
exactly. They're sending them to the top tier schools, which are still
Okay,
exactly which is still
but
good.
like an IMG Academy or something like that, like those
yes,
schools like that, like these boarding schools and stuff like that.
Boarding schools, and then obviously college, the Ivies, and whichever
yeah.
ones
Ivy League
top
schools and all that.
for tech. And I'm in the DC area, so I mean I see everybody. So
And I guess I'm glad you said that, Salchi. A lot of people don't understand. We live in a mixed economy.
yes,
This is not a purely
no,
capitalist economy.
hell
And
no,
trust and believe you do not want that. You
no.
don't believe me? Start reading the Empire of Cotton and all the crazy shit that was happening back in the 1900s with a full capitalist economy.
Well, the first thing that would occur would be that these large corporations would not be bailed out. Period. So they would be left to fail. So a lot of people would lose their jobs immediately if no one or no entity came and either purchased those companies
Right.
or just bought their
So
assets.
during the Great Depression, was that a mixed economy or a true capitalist economy that caused that?
Well,
Um,
we were.
it's probably more of a capitalist economy. It's probably like 20%, 80 capitalist, I would say.
Okay,
Because
no,
you
that's
gotta
why I'm
remember,
asking that because if
you
we're
gotta
a true
remember
mixed
there,
economy, the reason why I asked that is I always assumed the mixed economy is what caused that.
No, because you got to
no,
understand this. And there's socialism for the most part. Okay, in quote unquote developed worlds, there's socialism, including clearly here in America. How you have fucking federal? We have roads, federal roads.
Mhm.
That's we don't have private. You know,
Yep, you have police officers,
exactly. So we have that.
firefighters.
But the problem is, people complain about the healthcare. Oh, we don't have free. There is no free healthcare anywhere in the world, like factually speaking. So because people think that
Yeah, they have universal health care other places, but that comes out of their taxes.
exactly, so they think because America doesn't have that, there's no socialism here. No, we have socialism. We just have less
Yeah,
socialism. So even we can even go back because people will also bring up the fact that oh well decades there was a time where wealthy people were paying some 90% tax rates. Here's the other side that people either don't know or don't talk about. Uh, what was our GDP to that at that time? How much was our government spending at that
Uh,
time? And also, how many wealthy people did we actually have in this country at that
we
time?
only had
Not a
three
lot.
people. Oh, we only had four people. We had J.P. Morgan, we had John D. Rockefeller, we had Cornelius Vanderbilt, and his family. We only had three people. That's who the billionaires were back then.
So again, this is why I said people really don't understand what the f they're talking about when they say these things. So that's fine. Yeah, the tax rate was higher, but there was less. There was a far less socialism, and also remember the our there was a lot less obviously immigration, and obviously there was racism and a whole bunch of other crazy shit going on during that time as well. So people aren't looking at the entire board. Like
hmm
I look at the macro before I look at the micro for
hmm
anything. Because yeah, we can look for the exceptions to the rules, we can look at the trees, but until I understand the forest, until I understand the land, I,
yeah,
like I'm really not giving
See,
it a good assessment.
and this is what makes me mad when people bring up Trump was tough on immigration, but let's be honest, the jobs that these immigrants are taking, Americans are not going to be working in farms. They're not going to be working late at night in these hotels. Let's be honest.
Well,
That's what these like. I don't
well,
understand that line of thinking either.
Well, I could tell you, it's very simple. He was upfront about saying if they come in the right way through the right channels that we already established, and he said it multiple times.
yeah.
That's fine. He was talking specifically about those who come in here illegally and putting up barriers because it's not fair for those who were born and raised here, and then two, it wasn't fair for those immigrants who came here in the right channels and earned their way, literally. And he said that multiple times. So in that vein, that's correct. But again, you gotta understand.
But
I want
to push back. I want to push back a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. The people who are escaped. Let's. What Americans don't realize, and the like American-born people don't realize, is these people are escaping like horrible, like corrupt governments that are not protecting them. They're trying to. Like, it's hard for them to get political asylum here.
No, we understand it, but understand a lot of times. Remember, a lot of times when they come here, many may take jobs, and guess what? Many may take jobs under the table.
Yeah,
and then on the other vein, they'll have children here. So then they will have the kids will get the kids will get benefits on taxes that they don't pay, and then many of them will send their money back home. That's what's happening.
Can you blame that? Wait, can you blame them or the companies?
I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying what happens.
That's the reality.
See what I'm saying? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking sides. I'm just looking at the chess. I'm just looking at the chessboard.
That's why I'm asking. Like people blame these immigrants, but you need to blame the corporations that are paying them under the table. Is what I'm saying.
In a lot of cases, it's really more so the small businesses. It's less so with the large businesses, because the large businesses have larger assets, and they're a bigger target to be fined. So they're less. I don't say they don't partake. They're less likely. Where you will see a lot of these things, you will see a lot of it in construction.
Yeah.
Places like that. But remember, most construction companies aren't large companies. They're not Fortune 500 companies. The vast majority of them. There's not even 10 of them in the whole country. So you see what I'm saying? Like most of these a large percentage of people who are employed in this country, they work for small businesses. Like a lot of people don't realize that. So small businesses, not corporate America, not Fortune 500, not the guys who gotta file
not 10K. Not Mark Cuban. Is what you're saying.
Correct.
Mark Cuban is not doing this. Like these billionaires are not doing this.
Correct. These are regional or local small business owners for the most part. That's what's going on.
Regional grocery stores that are doing this and stuff like that. Like a Publix.
That's what's happening, because they do not have to report 10Ks, 10Qs. They don't have to report anything to SEC. So yes, they do have more room, and I can give you a perfect example of what happened last year or the last 2 years. ERC, the IRS just cut that shit off, which was the earned income or employment retention credit. So a lot of people were getting that who shouldn't have gotten it. Now the IRS had to cut the shit off so they can clean house. But you're really not going to hear a lot of large businesses getting in trouble for that shit, because they had to report. Did some? Of course some did. Of course. During the COVID, some people got caught, but guess what happened? They gave that money right back right away, because they knew shit was going to hit the fucking fan. So that's what I'm saying.
And do you think that's why these major corporations are basically pushing so they don't have to deal with this? They're pushing most of their cheap labor around, like, outside the country. That's why.
Well, it depends. It depends on the industry. You have to look at things.
Automotive and like innovation companies, like these computer companies, like Apple.
I can tell you why. Again, who sets the environment, the standard? Your politicians, the federal government, and then the states. So if they're being overtaxed, right? If they're being overtaxed, why would I stay here? Or if the infrastructure in this state is trash, and then you got high taxes, and then the colleges aren't on par. So now the brains don't come here locally. Why? One, why would I be here? That's one thing. Or why would I expand? See, that's the stuff that people don't see. And then remember, when it comes to business, because again, most people have not been self-employed or forget about being self-employed and then being a business owner are two different things. The vast majority of people haven't done either. I've been self-employed. It is, you're on the hook every single fucking day. You're responsible for everything.
My parents own a small construction, like a. I know what you guys are talking about because my parent. I asked this, but I know a portion of it because my parents deal with this. They own their own, uh, uh, not construction company. The people that deliver the material, like the transport companies and stuff like that for the construction sites and stuff. They're delivering the dirt. They supply the dump trucks and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I understand.
Okay.
So I sort of understand what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. So they're going through the headaches of, well, they have to file. Well, I mean, all corporations have to do this. They have to file their estimated taxes quarterly, which especially small business people, a lot of them don't do it right because many of them are cheap, or again, they don't understand basic taxation, basic accounting.
Mm-hmm.
So they're cheap when it comes to important people like a bookkeeper. You need a bookkeeper to have your books done properly every week, every month, and then you got your tax professional. Not most people say CPA. You really don't need a CPA. The only difference between an accountant and a CPA is that a CPA can certify financial statements. Okay, so you get the CPA to certify the shit either quarterly or annually. That's it. You have your bookkeeper, and then you have your tax professional looking at your shit every month. And then when it's time to do your estimated taxes, all that stuff, which you have to put in quarterly, your stuff is on point. So you're never late.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not late, you're not being fined, and then you're not paying interest on your fines. And then you have the tax professional. Now you're looking forward because accountants look backwards. Now you need someone who specializes in looking forward, which is CFO, which most people cannot afford. But you can't get an accountant who specializes in that. And now they're dealing with cash flow. Now they're dealing with treasury. Now you're dealing with banks. You're dealing with lines of credit and stuff like that. Like I deal with that shit. I seen what small businesses go through. I seen guys, because an employee or ex-employee or two or three of them left, and they took your biggest account, and now you're overdrawn $200,000+ every fucking month.
Mm.
Like that is what happened. That is real business. It's hard. Most people can't handle that shit. It is nonstop. I'm sure you see it's nonstop every day, all the time. And then most of them don't even understand the macro of how shit across the ocean affects them here, which is scary. This is why most people don't make it in business. When I say most, dude,
The
there
first thing they
are
teach you in business class: 90% of businesses fail.
well, first and foremost, they in business class, yes, they don't even teach you to run your own business. They teach you to go work for somebody. That's what when I hear
Yeah.
people talking about, I'm gonna go get my MBA so I can run my business. I look at them like, damn, for real? Do you understand what that is? That's for you to go work for corporate. That's not for you to go work for yourself. That's a whole different. That tells you people don't know. They don't know what's going on.
Why don't colleges teach MBAs to run your own business instead of going to a corporate setting? Why is it colleges don't teach MBA, like set up MBA programs to teach people how to run small businesses instead of going to
Because they don't
corporate
want
America? Like,
competition.
you know,
Why would? But think about it. Why would you do that? I mean, just look on the outside. Like
Mm-hmm.
what incentive do they have? Because yes, you will be productive for yourself, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but like you're not gonna be running these Fortune 500, Fortune 100, Fortune 500, Fortune two, you know, to 200 or 2,000 companies. Like you're not pushing, in a sense, you're not pushing the needle internationally at all. So see, that's what I'm saying. There's hierarchy. There's levels to the shit.
Right.
I mean, again, I'm not looking down, looking above. I'm just looking at the chessboard. There's no point in them doing that. Literally, for the most part, you really don't even need to go get a college degree. Really, if you really want to run your own company, my best thing is you go get experience in that,
Mm-hmm.
work for somebody else. If you go to school, to be quite frank, all you need is a fucking associate's degree in accounting. Done.
Why
Seriously,
is it that people push to get an MBA though? Why is it that
because it's popular.
Yes.
Because it's popular. And remember, who's getting paid? The colleges are. Colleges have been college tuition has outpaced salaries and wages. Okay, for the bottom 90% since 1980. And college graduates, their income adjusted per year has been on decline since 1969, 1970. What
Mhm.
happened? What happened around that time? Affirmative action. When the women took all the shit. But see, because people can't read, they literally can't read the numbers. They don't understand inflation, they don't understand these things. They can't tell, but they feel, wait, my dollar doesn't go as long as it used to. Man, I have to go get more education just to do basic jobs. So wait a minute, I gotta go get in debt just to survive, not to thrive, to survive.
Yeah. What's going
Mhm.
on?
That's where we are. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
We've
doing good. How
already
about you, Kobe?
plateaued. That's where we are today. How you
Mm-hmm.
doing, Jay? Yeah. So I mean,
I'm
again,
fine too.
I'm not judging. I'm just looking at the chessboard. And again, it starts as we always talk about here. It starts with the family. Now, if stuff is not passed down from family to family, like how shit really works, you're always going to be behind, or you're always going to start over. So forget about your family owning property and then passing it to the next generation. Just the knowledge, because you could always make more money or acquire assets. The knowledge is
See,
more important.
see, I have a that's a question I want to ask all three of you. Since I'm a younger generation and I was born here, do you think it's harder for like it seems like it's harder because people grew up in a different like they were so used to a different government like I'm gonna use my grandparents as an example. They grew up in Cuba and they were so used to that the communist system that when they got here they didn't know how to handle that type of like that the type of democracy
Well,
type of
one,
thing.
my family was not born here. My family was born in Liberia. But again, even in another country, what economic class or social class did they come from? That's the first thing again, because again,
Poor.
okay, so then they came here. They came here with that mentality. Now it goes multiple ways. A lot of times when you see people in those situations that come here because they really didn't have social programs that we have, that we are blessed to have, this is why they come here and they run circles around the typical American. Because one thing they know how to do is fucking work their ass off. Now, those who kind of figure out the system move further. Those who really figure out the system, oh, they do go extremely far. So, it was really dependent upon obviously your parents came from, and then their ambition, and then the people that that they surrounded themselves with during that time. So it sounds like, because you're 33, it sounds like your parents came here in the 80s and in the late 70s
Yeah,
to
my
what mid.
grandparent,
Yep.
my mom's parents came from Cuba in the late '60s, early '70s. My dad's parents came in the mid '70s, early late '80s, early '80s. My mistake,
So
early
they
'80s.
so they came here when manufacturing was just being shipped at, your fathers, they came here when the manufacturing was just leaving the country in the mid
Yeah,
70s. So the country was changing around that time. We were taking off of the gold standard with Nixon, and then right after that, manufacturing pretty much started leaving the country. So
Right.
more and more women were entering the workforce, which means, remember, just basic, uh, um,
Math.
just basic supply and demand. When you have more people or a whole lot of people going into a market, guess what that does? That brings pressure down on what? Prices,
Mm-hmm.
aka wages. So that's what happens. So, fast forward to today, you hear these women complaining, yeah, because y'all are in the market. And then you say that you're sexist. No, I'm just telling you one is more of y'all than us. And then a whole drove of y'all was put into the system. So yeah, wages went
And we
down, and then
reproduce more. I'm
yeah,
making a
so
joke, but
yeah,
Latinos reproduce like rabbits.
yeah,
To be honest.
no. That's
Dude,
that's the fact.
that's fucking true.
No,
Dude, I
that's a
went
fact.
to high school with a bunch of Latina chicks, and that shit scared the fuck out of me. Literally, like it seemed like if you blow on one of them, they got pregnant.
Yeah,
Because one of my friends, she got pregnant like 3 times, like, 4 times, like within on my high school thing, and now she's on her like seventh baby now.
yeah. Well, the thing is, one, the culture is very family oriented, and
Yeah.
and when you look at it from a biological standpoint, it does. Well, the women really do peak at like between 20, they're 22 to
20,
24. That's when they
25.
peak.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that does make sense. It's just how they go about doing it is a little different out here in this system. That's the only difference, though.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
you know,
Yeah, and when you
yeah.
look at the,
Just a minute.
I
Just a minute.
read these
Hold on. Wait
stats.
a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. 19 watching. Like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App, support the show. The Cash App is pinned at the top. Go ahead.
And I did research about the reproductive rates depending on like race and stuff. Latinos and Asians are going up. Black and white are going down. Like in terms of
the rate.
Yes.
the rate of
Yes.
how many kids they are having and stuff like
Yes.
that. Have you guys
Yes.
noticed that?
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, because we talked about this a few months ago in a report. This is when affirmative action was big, and it reversed it, abortion a few months
Right.
ago. So they're looking. They already project at the rate that we were at a few months ago, that by 2050, Latinas would be their reproductive rates would be, I think, like 14, somewhere between 12 and 14%. So I mean, obviously higher than everybody's. And then
Yeah.
Asians are right below them.
yeah, rate wise, and then white women and then black women were last. So remember, this is rates, and then when you look at the raw numbers, there are over 100 million white females in this country. Now, clearly, they are not. They cannot. They are not all of childbearing age, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
that is a large. That is the vast. That's the largest group in this
Mm-hmm.
country, literally.
But what I'm saying, it seems like even like when it comes to the percentage, the raw number
Yes.
percentage, they're saying like the white people are producing at like a 5 to 6% rate. They don't produce a lot of kids.
What
They maybe have one kid. Like most white families only have one or two kids. They're not having like they're
they were below replacement cost. They were replacement cost. they were below.
replacing.
Replacement level.
I guess I didn't clock out of work. They were below replacement birth rates. They did uptick during COVID, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the next few months, because they did get an uptick to right above it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they were below in this country. They were below replacement. They
Yeah.
were. So I mean, but that typically does happen in developed countries, because
Mm-hmm.
what happens in developed countries with their economically, it becomes more advanced. And
Mm-hmm.
again, when you start having more social programs in an advanced economy, and especially when women can work, guess what happens? Women tend to have
Reproduce.
no, they tend to have
Oh,
less. They tend
they
to have
usually have
less children.
less.
Yes, that
Oh,
is what
okay.
happens. So it's not a phenomenon, because this does happen everywhere where we do have these where women can work, and they are
Educated women,
exactly
basically.
exactly. So
Oh,
Yeah.
so that is the norm, and they're especially for white folks, they're afraid because they're all
Yeah,
over
they're
globally.
already
They're below. They're below
they're
replacement
already a
cost.
minority technically. They just don't want you to know it.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's why they're
Yes.
flooding with all of those Latin, like people from the South, the
Yeah,
mestizos, and
I
all
talked
those
about
other
that
people.
earlier.
Yes.
Shout out to BGS. They need more white people, and Latinos are the closest thing they can get right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. No. It's a fact. But again, when you talk about these type of things out, in the public, you sound crazy, or you
Or
sound
racist.
misogynist or racist. But no, it's. But again, remember, like, and I said this a couple times, especially when BGS is on. I'm like, a lot of us, me included, sometimes I forget how privileged we are in this space. We
Yes.
Mhm.
really are ahead. Like, a lot of us don't realize it. We really are.
So
You
so
know the
AB
saddest. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
so AB and J, this is an honest question. Do you think where this fear is coming out of is because like the fear that all this like all this pure like from these I'm saying MAGA Republicans, the really racist Republicans
They
like
will
that.
not replace us. That's what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Do you think it's delusion that they're not reading the mathematical numbers that it's showing that
When
there's
have they
more
not been
Latinos and
delusional?
Asians coming into this country?
Dude, my question is, when have they not been delusional? If you've
Mm-hmm.
been living in this country long enough, you could tell that they've been delusional for a long time. They could have fixed all these problems years ago, but they
Decades ago.
haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, decades ago, but they didn't. They are the type of people that will cut their nose to spite their fucking face, and like it's really that bad. These people will ruin. Like if they're not on top, I really fear that they will burn the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I was looking
delusional
at
to the point where you're screwing other people because of your fear,
Yeah,
basically.
and I
yeah,
mean, like, look what they've
white
done to black
supremacy.
people. If they had worked with the diaspora, like, they had the best possibility to actually, became the top dominant people or top dominant country over for like maybe 1,000 years. If they had just used the diaspora from like, all the African diasporas and all this stuff from north to south to the Caribbean to go back to Africa and use like as connections to, build up African stuff, we could have been running the world for 1,000 years or more. But no, they don't want niggas in charge. They want to be in charge. That's how they are. They're a little island, of inbred motherfuckers.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Much we
In
can
the
do about it
chat,
now, but
there's an argument going on between two people, BGS and someone else. Uh,
yeah, I'm gonna ignore that right now. You'll be all right.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, no,
Uh,
and to be honest, this is what needs to happen in the schools, but it's not going to happen
No.
because they want to control everybody. It's all like people said. The educational system is to turn people into robots. It's not.
It's not to
actually teach them.
educate you, correct? And even college grads. That's why I typically don't even like to say college grads are educated. I typically say that they're trained.
yeah.
The
That's what
saddest
you go to.
reality is that we're
Well,
all majority of us is like I've met more common people that are smarter than these people. And my
Yes.
like my aunt
yeah,
and my
yeah,
uncle and all this stuff, they all are like the professors and all this shit, and they're dumbasses. And it's like I have to school them all the time. I'm like, dude, how are you gonna let a grunt from the military outclass you like this and out educate you like this? And when I speak to them, they look so dumbfounded. And then they like even when you bring out the facts and you give them the books, the numbers, and all that shit, they still look at you and say that you're wrong and you're dumb. I'm like, bitch, how when other people say this shit and I could prove it to you, you still look at me and still say this is not gonna happen? Like, oh, because I don't got a degree or something. It's because I don't got a degree.
It's a social. It's social class. When
yeah.
the higher or the more difficult your college program is, typically you are of higher class. That's how it is looked upon. So seeing that the majority of people see that, it doesn't matter that you come with the facts. Like, it just doesn't matter. Even when you go to work, you see that
Brainwashing.
somebody's
It
I'm
is.
older than you, so automatically I know more, or I'm smarter than you, just for the fact that I'm older than you. Period.
Dude, that's like it's basically like it's like church, because I was raised in a Christian church and all stuff. So when I was like I'm like like I was raised with like Islam and Christian stuff, so I had like different perspectives on a lot of things. So when I went into my Christian like family and all that stuff, and I come out with other stuff, they will pull that whole I'm older than you type of stuff on you, and the fact and like they don't care. They're really are brainwashed. It's like it's really like a slave religion, and like they how can I put it?
A
It's
cult.
basically
A cult.
yeah, it is a cult. Exactly, it's a fucking cult, and they don't want to believe anybody else but themselves.
But remember, it's programming, and two, the
Mm-hmm.
older you get, the harder it is to break your program because you're literally strengthening those neurons, literally those neural pathways. So it's literally painful, especially the older you get, to change.
Yes.
And that's why I
And
even tell them. I get to a point. I'm like, you know what? If I had the power, I would Tucson your ass. Like, I will really get rid of half of you already because you guys are so damn. It's so they're so far gone. It's like the only way you could fix it is when you get rid
and
of
I
them.
blame the legacy media on this. They're forcing they're brainwashing people even more. We need more independent media in spaces like this. We're depending on legacy
Yep.
media like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and ABC and stuff
Yeah.
to get our
Why
information and stuff like
do you
that.
think I called myself AB Media? That's one of the reasons I called myself AB Media because I knew what I was getting on cable news was bullshit. So I was like, you know what? If I can do a better job myself, I may as well call myself.
Yeah, no, and this is what happens too. Like the when the legacy media sees people creating in their own voice, they go to YouTube and tell them to cut off people from YouTube. I've seen that happen to multiple channels and stuff like that, and they
Well,
have to.
it's easy to discredit people, especially when you have credit. When you have credibility,
Yeah.
it's easy for you to discredit people who don't have that level of credibility.
Yeah, it is.
And then remember, they're on TV. They've been on TV for either years or decades. So people are just remember we're creatures of habits.
Hardwired.
Exactly. So it's just okay. Well, this guy has, we know this guy. We know his background. Blah blah blah. Or this girl, we know their background. Blah blah blah. Blah. This person, they sound like they're saying some radical stuff. And I don't know their background, and that's just that's how it is. And then people are just lazy, so they're not going to do their homework. So yeah, so then it's easy to blacklist these
Yeah,
people.
and I've said this all the time. If it since guys like Walter Cronkite and Edward R. Murrow died, the media has been more sensationalized instead of looking for facts. Like the
Because,
legacy media has become more sensationalized since those two legends of of journalism passed away.
but remember, they can only sell what people buy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember that.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, I always look at before I look at the leader, I look at the crowd.
Yes.
you look at the mob before you look at you look at the body before you look at the head of the snake. Basically,
There you go. That tells me everything. That's
And you know what's one of the other saddest thing is like over the years is that I realized I've been smarter than majority of my family members since I was like 7. And it's really sad. I'm calling it. I'm like, some don't seem right about the money. Some don't seem right about the system. And it's like, it just seems funky. Like how, like the way how the dollar bill works is like explaining the color red to a blind person.
and well, the thing is to not even try to change people or enlighten people. You just do you, and those who are able and willing, they will come along, or they will not at all. Because
See, I was trying to help them. That's the thing. I wasted so much time. I was like, it took me a while to realize I got to give up on them.
so
yeah.
for you guys, since I bet you since you guys are probably older than I am, and you guys lived through the gold standard, do you think the gold standard and paper money can work alongside each other?
No, none of us lived through the gold standard.
Yeah, dude, I'm 28.
Yeah, that like I said, that ended with Nixon, man.
No, what I'm saying, do you think that could work? Like if they bring back the gold standard, can that work with the
No,
paper money we have?
No, it's too far. We got too much paper
no.
money.
It's too.
You don't.
People are gonna
There's too
Yeah,
much. There's too much debt, and remember, everything has been globalized, hyper globalized since '71. So heck no, there's not enough gold. Period. So it's just no, it's not gonna happen.
we've been
Oh,
living a fake world for so damn long that it's becoming reality.
yeah. In other words, we've been living on the petrodollar for so long, it's become a reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
and people thought like I'm being crazy. People thought how technology has gotten so crazy now. People thought when the first remember when the first Terminator movie came out, people thought that was crazy. It was never going to happen. Look what's happening now. We have AI, our artificial intelligence now, and stuff like that in the
Oh yeah,
military.
they got robots
Shit,
doing actual flips.
Yeah. Well,
dude,
well,
I've been telling my family this since I was a kid. I was like, the way how this world is going, since I was like, what's it called 8. I was like, okay, the way how this world is going, I'm just waiting until like maybe I'm 70 or 60 till like like what's it called? They could plug my brain up into the Matrix so I could play as Dragon Ball Z Budokai, as Broly and blow up planets in the video game. And my uncle used to look at me like I was like he's a pass. He used to look at me like I was crazy until later on. Now he started looking like, wow, you are so right. I'm like, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I've told you this shit is out of it's going out of crazy. I'd rather just plug my brain up and be gone and start playing as Broly and start blowing up planets. Fuck it, I'm done. I already gave up. I was like, there's no way of winning this shit. It's done unless a rock come and factory reset this place.
well, AI is the technology has caught up, but AI is not new. AI has been around, I think, since the
yeah,
late
yeah,
'60s, late
yeah.
'60s.
It's been around for a while.
It's been out for decades. It's
Mhm.
just again, a lot of stuff has already been around. It's just the technology needed to catch
Didn't
up.
have the hardware for it.
Yeah, that's it. So that's all it is right now. And again, things because technology can move and improve faster than obviously we can change. That's why more and more people will be left behind faster.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, and automation is hurting the major industries. I've read somewhere where the major industries that are getting affected by automation the most are are grocery chains because they're starting to use those automated cash
Self
registers.
checkouts.
Yeah, auto checkouts.
Well,
The auto industry.
I can tell you right now, man. My econ. I remember my first econ teacher. Man, this is in 2001 or 2002. He flat out told me. He said I forget the name of the book I bought. I bought it and read it. And he said technology is changing at a very fast rate. And he told us. Well, he told me it was just he and I one-on-one. He said I went to a Toyota factory. He said there were a handful of people working. He said, imagine that in a factory building cars. This was way back.
Automated tools for yeah.
Yeah.
We had
So so clearly that happened before 2001, 2002. So that's what I'm saying. This isn't new.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we have more people. I mean, yes, the technology is moving faster, and we have more people.
And we have robots now, but let's not forget we can thank Henry Ford for basically creating the assembly line to make stuff come out faster. If it wasn't for a guy like Henry Ford, we wouldn't have all this clothes and all these like electronics being produced at such a cheap rate and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah, he created an efficient system, which is business. Business is systems, and you have to be efficient depending on the business. But again, because things have become more global now, depending on what's going on in your local area, again, what shapes that are the taxes and the local laws. So if it gets too expensive or if it's not profitable, you have to take certain parts or your entire operation, you either close it down or you move somewhere where it's more favorable for you to thrive. Because
which is usually like places like Asia or something like that.
If we're talking about manufacturing.
Yeah.
If we're talking about manufacturing, definitely. It's either that. The only way for manufacturing to be big in this country, guess what? That means it's only going to be a few companies and then it's still only going to be a few jobs because again we're an advanced, quote unquote, an advanced society. This is like not the the old days anymore. So that's what I'm saying. These things. This is what typically happens, regardless of where you are in the world. It's just again how the government decides to shape their environment. And obviously, it also depends on your natural resources as well. So
we're an advanced society, but we're less educated,
generally speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, because we've created an environment that's extremely comfortable. It's just a cycle. That's all it is. It's just a cycle. If you look at it, if you can be as pragmatic as possible, you'll just see, oh, this is just a cycle.
Yeah.
And make the best decisions for yourself so you can thrive. And those around you, if they're able and willing.
That's what I'm thinking of going into Bitcoin, but I'm starting to be hesitant after that whole scam a year ago with that guy.
Well, the thing with Bitcoin, and I've been saying it for years, man, that it's not even the Bitcoin, it's the blockchain. It's just technology, man. I'm in the DC area. I literally, for the last 2 years, I have a client. I was doing the tax. She works for the government. She's high up. That's what she specializes in. Blockchain, cryptocurrencies. She's telling all the old guys what it is. Okay, so last time I saw her was obviously the beginning of this year to do her taxes, and she makes a good amount of money. And she was saying that, and she broke it down. We always have conversations about these things because she's in finance, and so she breaks it down. She said if you look at it pragmatically, it has the weaknesses of fiat. It is the strengths, and vice versa. She said we need to look at them as working together, which she's correct. And guess what we have now? A lot of people have most people don't know about it, or those who did, they kind of forgot. They don't talk about it. Fed now. It's been available for months now.
What's been available again?
Fed
Right
now.
now.
Oh yeah, that's been out for a while. Yeah.
But
They've been preparing this. But one thing can I add on? Since they talk about good old Mr. Ford, he would not got his idea of manufacturing cars without the assistance that he always go talk to George Washington Carver, which was his close friend.
Yeah.
Which people didn't know about.
Exactly.
I didn't know that
idea. He goes see the black man for the ideas. I want black
Dude,
people to understand. Let me say this. I want to be clear. None of these people are coming up with innovate. They still have the assistance of us. That's why we work for them. They always pay attention, take detail, and examine closely.
And remember this. Remember this, throughout history, their main goal was like to go after Africa and all this other stuff because Africa specifically and African people, because all the greatest technology and all the greatest innovators really come from that continent. So why do you think they want black people to be on every part of the continent in their countries in the world? Because they know that we usually help them create everything, like the light bulb, the roads, everything, like anything that they need to have, they need final touches or so to get to somewhere, to get to the moon. It's always a black person behind it that actually gave them the I think this is the key.
Edison and Tesla didn't come up with the light bulb?
No, it was a black person.
Thank you.
They stole it.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
How we know it? Because Edison was a businessman. He said he get people work for him to create ideas. All he does is put his name on it.
Like the chair that hit that lady upside the head. That was what black guy that made it.
Like Nikola Tesla. He made some Edison, and then she departure after the game that Edison was playing on him. Who didn't know that?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all guys
I didn't. Y'all
guys gotta look into that.
Dude, every technology we got now is a black person that made it. I'm not joking. Every technology you got today really was a black person that made it. They patented, they stole it and kill it.
Yeah. Yep. See, the thing is that's especially in those days. One, obviously, certain things like legally support black people could not do. Now we can, but the problem is we still have the mentality of not understanding, again, finance, business, and policy. Because if we understood that, we would know that we would need to go that route. One, we would just need to read them first to see how the environment is. And then secondly, if we actually had any good ideas, what have you, then we would know the process of doing that. And then once you do that, now you need to move fast because once stuff gets out, especially these days, people can engineer around it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So now you need to capitalize fast. So then you put up blocks. That is business. But see, that's not the culture. That's not in the code. That's not embedded in the culture. Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, and this is another. It's the only black person that I've ever heard get credit was the guy who did the first open heart surgery and stuff like that. Like that's the only black person that I've ever heard get credit for anything in terms of the history of the United States. Maybe George Washington Carver for the peanut butter, and the people who invented the family who the lady who invented Aunt Jemima, the or whatever it's called now, salt pepper or whatever it's called. You know the.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It seems like those are the only three people that I've heard that have gotten credit.
Because they don't want niggas to be on top. So they don't want to make it seem like niggas. Remember, like, dude, I remember when I was a kid, I used to believe that white people discovered lions and tigers and shit. Lions. I was like, wait a minute, that's in Africa. How the fuck does a white person even know about a lion before black people?
Well, even before that, they remember that even to this day, even people with credentials and people who are well respected to this day. I just heard one of them recently just say, because it was just Indigenous Day or the ex Christopher Columbus Day, she still said that we discovered America. We didn't. It wasn't discovered.
It was the Moors.
It was already people here. It was already people here. So it wasn't discovered. Now you can say we established. Okay, you can say that. That's the correct term.
And that's where America. That's what pisses me off too when white people have the nerve to say you should go back to where you came from. Your ancestors immigrated from another country too, so you have no right to say that. Like you weren't originally here. The Native Americans were originally here and stuff like that. So that's what pisses me off when people say that. Like you go back to where you came from. When you do your research correctly, you can go as far back. Like the white people who say they're originally from here, their ancestors immigrated from England for religious persecution reasons.
All those places.
And you need to remember one thing too. Remember this: we're the oldest human beings on the planet. Like we're the first original ones. Is the reason why we've been living on this planet, like been alive for so damn long. And it's a reason why we've been alive so long, and there's a reason why everybody wants us and hate us at the same time. Is because we are the best, and that's what it is. And they don't want anybody else to admit it, and they know that we're the best. That's why they always keep an eye on us. They don't want to get rid of us.
Though.
It is a contradiction. It is a contradiction, but it is. White people are a contradiction. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like everything they do is a contradiction.
And when you guys just said that George Washington Carver was the one that gave Henry Ford that idea of automation, I didn't know that until you guys said something. Said that. I didn't know that.
Dude, the whole economy was made from black people. Dude, the whole economy was made from black people. Like, what was it? Who was the guy that?
Hold on, wait a minute. Everybody calm down. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
To make the point, why do you think they had to implement Jim Crow? Go read Empire of Cotton. They had to implement Jim Crow because after the Civil War ended, what was the South? You were like 70% of the GDP. Slavery was like 70% of the GDP. They had to put back on the plantation. That's why sharecropping happened. Sharecropping started to happen.
And then we outclassed them so bad to the point that it was like, we gotta put them back because they were getting embarrassed too. Because we were gonna run them out of business. So they had to put us back. Like, what do you think? Like, if they left black people the fuck alone, they know that we will terraform everything better than they would ever do. like we'll come up with better ideas. We probably would have been on Mars by now if it wasn't for them.
I
Yeah, who do you
see.
think
I
built
don't
Washington D.C.? That's a black man.
see. For me, I've never experienced what you guys experienced. I'm Afro Latino. I'm half black, half Latino. So I never experienced what you guys experienced. Well,
You are one of us, bro. What do you mean?
what?
Well,
You are one of us. I don't get that part.
No, he just comes from a different perspective. That's fine. Continue.
No, I never grew up in the community, the black community, though, and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. I never.
But it's a reason. No, but it's a reason why your people were there too, because you are one of us. You've got the same brain, you got the same essence, you got the same DNA as us. It's a reason why you're there too. Your people had to cut. Your people invented shit too. Like black people down there invented stuff too. That's it, bro. I'm telling you for what it is. Like understand that they know the greatness within us, but they don't want us to know it, and they know that we invent a lot more throughout history. Everybody always had like a grudge against Africans or black people in general because they know everything great came from us and they wanted it. There's been a war for millennia because of this shit. They want the biggest thing was always going into Africa. Everybody know that.
Yeah, no, and I didn't realize this until recently. I watched a special. Do you know who John Leguizamo is? The actor.
Yes. Yeah.
He did a special. I didn't know that Latinos served in the Civil War. I didn't know that until he said that. Like, I didn't realize Latinos served in the Civil War, and we had the highest representation in World War II when it came to the ethnic community and stuff like that. We have a lot of war heroes in this country, but we don't hear about it and stuff like that.
Yeah, just a minute. Y'all hit the Cash App and support the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's shocking to me when I heard that Latinos served in the Civil War all the way. No, in the Revolutionary War. I didn't know that either. Like,
remember, look at California, look at Texas, New Mexico. You got
Nevada.
Exactly. When you look at pieces of this land was being purchased, you got to look at who was on the land. You see what I'm saying? So like, it's not surprising. It should be surprising once you look at it for what it was. No, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, and another thing, they can't even win a war without us. Don't forget that too. They never won a war without us. Every time when shit hits the fan, it's like, send the niggas. They can get it done. Like every time. Just send the niggas.
Yeah, and what people don't realize, Mexico, Texas, New Mexico, California, most of the Midwestern states were originally part of Mexico before. Mm-hmm. We just pushed them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the term whitewashing education came from, because they don't want the people in power don't want that to be known and stuff like that. Where they're erasing history as they go along because they don't want to admit that they took it from another country.
Exactly, but that's what I say. They will cut their nose to spite their face. They are a living contradiction, bro.
Well, it was easier to do it back then. Again, now because of technology, it's nearly impossible. But the thing is whether various subgroups, subcultures actually do the work, to do the homework, to look back, to read the right texts and books,
right,
to piece things together. That is the problem right now.
Education.
It's people doing their work.
Proper education.
Exactly. That's the problem. Because if they don't do that, they won't know. You see it all the time.
But the issue with that, if you go into the libraries, that no matter what you find, they're starting to burn books that actually tell that history too.
I mean,
because they don't want to know. They don't want the world to know that they ain't shit, bro. They don't do shit. They don't want the world to know that. That's the whole thing. They don't even want their own people to know that they didn't do shit. They want, dude. They want themselves to be the gods. They made themselves Jesus for even in the Bible said Jesus had copper skin. Where the fuck is their copper?
But that's typical of who's in power at various times. They would typically shape the image of what have you in their own image,
That's why
which
you
is
think Chesney.
that's normal.
Yeah,
That's
but
why.
remember this before they
Hold
ever
on, wait
did
a
the
minute, wait a minute,
whitewash. Oh,
wait a
sorry.
minute. Hold on. That's why Cesare Borgia says you're picking Jesus, that white dude.
Yeah, yeah,
That decision was based off of the Pope's son.
yeah.
There we go.
And don't forget this, before like they like this whole white people going around the world conquering and doing all this other stuff too, every like all their gods, all their older, like Europeans or Asians and all that other stuff, like their gods and like kings and stuff, it all came from black folks. They all know it was black people that did this stuff. It's just like now for the past like couple like 500 or 1,000 years, whatever the hell they've been like doing stuff, they're just erasing the history. They know who really did what. They
Yeah,
know what's really going on.
Christianity came from Africa and the Arab, like in the Middle East. That's what people forget. Christianity came from Judaism, but Judaism started in parts of Africa that weren't discovered and stuff like that.
But again, remember, most people will not do the work to go back to find the origins. So this is why it's easy for you to do that. And even to, I mean, well, it was harder. Well, it was easier for them to do it then because of the lack of technology. Now it should be harder, but because
people are too lazy.
Exactly. That's the problem.
And they're not willing to, too.
Yeah.
It's not just not being lazy. They're just not willing to learn because they don't want to crash their mind. They hate, remember, people don't like their reality being destroyed.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hope this gets better as it seems like it's getting worse, but eventually, once like I said, once the older generations, like people in their 80s, start dying out, I think that mentality starts dying out, or it's too ingrained in the population for that to die out.
Dude, I want you to understand this. By the time this thing is going to be fixed, you're already going to be dust in the ground. It's too far gone.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Exactly. Yeah. We're at the climax of shit about to go hitting the fan. So it's better off if you want your seed to carry on. You better go find new lands to to carry on, like Africa,
or like people say, go to the moon and set up a colony there.
No,
you're laughing, but
I'm laughing because, hey man, look, I've been, like I said, my whole dream since I was a kid was like, I already gave up on this whole society thing. Is like, look, I just want to plug my brain up into a video, like the video game, and be Broly or some shit, and just go around the universe, just destroying planets, having fun, playing my Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That's it. I already know where this is going. Exactly. I already have this shit set up. Wait, say it again.
You want to be Galactus, huh?
Get a little bit, yeah, but I want to be Broly. I want to be a Super Saiyan, It's fun. It'll be fun that way. I'll be fighting Goku and all that stuff. That's been my whole entire thing since I was a kid. Elon Musk is on the way creating that shit.
And what people forget too is like like Stan Lee said this out of his own mouth. He was influenced by the black community writing his comics, specifically two characters, Professor X and Magneto were influenced by Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Like, he said this out of his own mouth when he created the characters. Like, their characters were influenced by the black community and what was happening around him when he was younger and stuff like that. So,
dude, if you just look at the history of Africa itself, you see how many different art styles and different types of sculptures and like what was it called? What's the name of that? Like the big huge structures, like the mega monoliths or something like that. Is that
mega monoliths?
Exactly. Like, do you see how many if you go to different parts of Africa, you can see different types of creation and shit like that all over the place. So it's like we've been artists. It's just like they don't want you to know. Like, remember, their music was shit until we got into it.
Yeah, no, and this is where I don't understand. This is, I think, where the aliens theory comes in with the Egyptians creating the pyramids, because they can't believe that these people were smart enough to build those pyramids without construction equipment and stuff like that. And
if you see some of this stuff, it looks like they had lasers, like to carve out like a whole city inside of a mountain. Do you understand? Like
Yeah.
it looks so damn ridiculous. Like how did they make it? Even I'm looking, and this is why I say like the Pope and all this stuff actually have a lot of this shit like hidden. They know, like they're
Oh, the
really screwing
Vatican.
over the few. Yeah, the Vatican. They're hiding a whole bunch of shit that actually could have helped us out. Like they're screwing over the world. I know they have a whole bunch of hidden technology and shit in there that they know, but they don't want everybody else to know about. That's like I know it.
Yeah, the Vatican, they have books that other people just don't have. But the Vatican is like its own country. Like it's like seriously, like the way how they function, even though they're over there in Europe, it's like they're literally their own country.
even though they're not subject to Italian law at all.
That's what I'm saying. They're literally
Dude,
their own country.
they got their own CIA, FBI, and everything, dude. You could get assassinated over there. Like they are.
Different.
That's how powerful they are.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, AB, are you gonna try to go to Mace's channel tomorrow, by chance?
I might depend. What time is he going on?
He usually comes on early in the morning to preview the college games, then later at night to review them and stuff like that.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me on your channel and educating me on most of this stuff, guys.
Sure, no problem.
Man. You stay blessed and stay safe out here, man.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Yeah, man. Like I said, a lot of people have not been informed. A lot of miseducated going around. I mean, we have the ability now. The only thing is to get your mind right, you got a network, and carry out. Simple as that. It's not hard. You know what I'm saying? You might have to know some little things, but if you work with someone and work in enough groups, I mean, you make something happen. All this rugged individualism shit, you try that shit, you're going to fail every time. It's a world that's now completely globalized, that everybody's working and play for keeps.
Yeah. True.
One thing I do want to say, a lot of information was said here. I want people not to discourage of the climate that's here and was upon us. You got to do the best in your best interest as a man. You know, I mean, I was supposed to go live, which I'll probably go live in like 15 more minutes, maybe. That I look at some of these people that ask their opinions about KS. Now that he's gone, I tell you, KS was only here for a moment. It is now the work and what message already has now to be set forth now. Those who's going to be brave enough to push it out there, even go as far as be seen, it's going to really be a more of a bigger issue than anything else. But let's be honest. The women are going to be set in their ways. That's fine. And they will die in their ways. That is fine. That's not most black men's concern moving forward, Can we, no here's going to waste their time. No man's going to waste his time reform a Negro.
Yeah, that wasn't even the point of the stream. They've sealed their fate. It is what it is. What's that South said? Leave them to themselves.
Yeah. I say let them die on their sword.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
why
what
I just want to knock that out the way.
It is. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, just let them die on their sword. There's always opportunities. Again, it's can you see them and then can you actually execute? You see what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
that's why you have to. I typically tell guys the first and foremost, use your strengths. Whatever your natural strengths are, you need to be holding those things because that's your first. That's the first layer of your unfair advantage. First and foremost, right there, focus on your strengths and improve on that. Then, based on what the market wants and or needs,
right?
Then you get into that's how I do it. That's how a lot of guys who are far more ahead of me. That's how they've been doing it for decades, and they're doing it extremely well. So why reinvent the wheel? The thing is, again, now we have the technology, so it's a gift and a curse because we do have access to the information. The question is, do you have the mind for it, and do you would need to also have the discernment to know if it's quality work or not, or quality information. So I mean, that's the challenge that we have now. And then things move faster. So that's why I always say there's no days off in that sense. It doesn't mean you can't have fun or anything like that. But now it's like when the opportunity shows itself, you better move fast because it's just not a local thing for the most part. It's either domestically or it could be internationally. So you got to move. So you think about it. You're competing with people who are far more advanced, have more resources, and or are smarter and better than you. Mm-hmm. So, like, it would behoove you to. That's why at least for me personally, it's no days off, man. Just aren't any. Sorry,
Shoot,
I mean.
Dude, that's why I'm working with Theo right now. Like I got with his stuff, and I'm like, I'm just buckling down. I'm like, I'm glad I got no kids. I didn't fuck up with, like when I was younger. Yeah, I'm like, a little behind the curve, but I'm like, hey, I realize I'm in a better position than a lot of other people. I'm just like, okay, I need to get my shit together and get up out of here, man. There's no other way around it. I already seen the warning flags, but my whole thing was just like I was trying to stay here to save people. But then it just took me a while to realize I got it. Exactly. It's like thanks to you guys, it made me realize I got to give up on that.
Yeah.
You can't save everybody, brother.
No.
Yeah.
I want to save people too, but after a while you realize that some people can't be saved. You gotta leave them to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I'm just helping out my little brothers and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, we gotta get up out of here. Well, that's it. Like only my little brothers and like my cousins and stuff, and they're all dudes. I'm like, yeah, all the chicks. I'm like, I left them all to the devices. I'm like, if they get married, they get married. If the rest of them, like, you go all burn in hell. I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do.
But then remember, we're in a quote unquote advanced society, so that means for you to thrive, that means you need to know or acquire more complex skills. So typically that means fewer people naturally will even be able to do it, let alone cultivate or acquire the knowledge and the skill. And with technology moving faster, that's why I said earlier, more and more people are going to be left behind. Mm-hmm. So you literally don't have the time to sit here and wait for other people because you will become a casualty.
Yeah, and I'm almost there. That's the reason why I moved. I'm like, because I'm start thinking about like, I could have been gone and been out of the United States, like, what's it called? Probably like actually 7 years ago. I could have been gone already, but I was like, nah, I'm just staying here to try to help out and trying to like get people to like snap too, but it's too much. And I'm like, yeah, I can't save them, and I gotta work on myself. And I'm only taking on like the smart ones, like me and my cousins that I grew up with and stuff, and like my little brothers. I'm like, okay, they're still young enough to catch, like, they could learn all this stuff and be way farther than me later on, and that's the only thing I could do.
But when you look in the past, right? What typically happens, the areas, wherever you see where the brains are centralized, those places thrive. But are they creating an environment for those type of people? America used to, not anymore, for the most part. So where else, internationally, are they doing that? Where is it favorable? But then here's the thing now, because even when you still do that, here in America, you still have to pay income taxes. A lot of people, I hear people talk about this. They don't include that. Either they don't know it or they're not. I don't hear guys talking about that. Even when you leave this country, you're still paying taxes. Even when you renounce your citizenship, you're still paying taxes for 10 more years. There's only 3 countries in the world that does it. America's one of them.
It's a blessing and a curse, man. This damn country. I was so pissed when I found that out. I was like, God damn it! It's just like, I'm not even going to revoke this goddamn citizenship. It's already, it's too late. Exactly, it's just not worth it. I was like, I'd rather just deal with it. It's just an extra. What's it called? It's just an extra bill, honestly, and that's it. And just move on with it.
That's it.
Yeah, fellas, I'm about to call it a night. Thanks for coming up.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you, AB. You're a blessing, man.
Yep.
And you too, Fauci. I love every time when you speak, I was just like, yeah, man, this is my money guru right here. I love his business acumen right here.
Why you should shut up because he know more about it than I do.
Hell yeah. That's a sign of a smart man when you know to shut the fuck up when somebody's smarter than you and know more than you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man. But
Thank
thanks,
you, fellas.
AB.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you.
fellas,
Mhm.
for coming up. Thanks to everybody that came through. This is AB Media 83, and I'm out. Peace.
Peace. Stay blessed.
Take care, everybody.